We're recording.
Yes.
All right. It is 7 p.m. on the 10th day of March, 2026. As presiding officer, I hereby call this regular meeting of the Vernonia Rural Fire Protection Board of Directors to order. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Public comments will be accepted during the public comment section of the agenda. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have any additions to the agenda?
This will just probably be a good of the order. Well, I'm about to get an evil look. This came by today. This is a request from our engineering firm, ZCS, to design this building. They get a tax break for designing buildings that have newer insulation and efficient water heaters and efficient HVAC systems. And they need me to sign off that this work was done. So I was gonna be looking for board. Okay, I don't know if we need a full motion thing on that, but we can see if we're good to the order. Like,
Sure,
All right.
good to the order. All right, anything else? All right. Members present. James?
Here.
Steve?
Here.
Dawn?
Here.
Amy?
Here.
Neil Kennedy? Staff?
Fire Chief Greg Brody.
Board Secretary Charlie Cannery.
And everybody else, please sign in. All right, everybody have a chance to review previous meeting minutes.
I
And if
guess
there's no issues, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2/10/2026 regular meeting minutes.
I hear a second.
I will second it.
So was that Dawn?
Dawn. I'm the seconder.
James?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Motion carries. Newsletter.
Not much to share. We just will have another article out in May. And I'm assuming that's when we'll also share more of the levy information if needed, if Scott hadn't already posted about it.
Yep. Correspondence.
I have 5 postcards. I believe all of them are from people in the community that wanted to thank Brandon Carr and a bunch of other staff and volunteers for installing smoke alarms. So I can share those.
Nice.
We received that grant from OSF. Brandon received that grant from OSFM, and we received 25 smoke alarms, and we handed out 25, installed them, and he submitted them to OSFM, and hopefully we can get some more.
Yep.
And then also I have a flyer to pass around. We just received it, SDAO regional training for board members. Like to.
Send it.
Everything.
All right. Treasurer's report.
You will see 2 highlighted checks, the large checks. Steve Weller came in yesterday and signed those for us. So I have no checks for you guys tonight.
Don't ask me what my signature looked like.
For insurance, annual insurance for workers' comp and all of our apparatus. And then property, and then the bonus for staff insurance.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dawn. James?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Chief's report.
Okay, it's gonna be short.
It's good, because the agenda is 17 items long.
Yeah, and I also because I didn't, I was gone quite a bit. So, total cars for service in February was 42. That brings us up to 96 for the year. Just for last year, we had 48 calls in February and we're at 95. So we're 1 call ahead this year. The only interesting call we had was we had a motor vehicle accident on Highway 26 on our 1 mile stretch of Highway 26, which is in Columbia County. We had a car over an embankment down there that we had to use some tools to get the person out. They weren't injured, they were just trapped in the car. We did bill for that call in the neighborhood of about $1,400. I think we're gonna get to that one, so that's coming to us. Training stuff was case reviews, radio operations, ladders, hose line, driver's training, the standard stuff. We did a dismal amount of training with total hours in the month of February. I've discussed this with staff today, that our training hours must come up, and that's in fact something we did today, is we got 3 hours of training today. So we're going to, I think there was a little bit of a post-holiday break on training, and I've made it clear that we need to get our training hours back up. So last month we did have 210 hours of volunteer time donated to us, pulling shift. Again, that's more than 2 hours in uniform ready to respond. We got a lot of students here that are studying for classes and things like that, in UT class. So we did get some people here, but yeah, 210 hours is great. The new engine from Hillsborough Fire is here. Hillsborough Fire came out today. They sent one of their trainers up here, and we spent about 2.5 hours going over the engine with us, all the little intricacies about it, all the electronics, all the pumping, all the things we need to know about it. By no means that we're experts on it. We're going to train on this thing for the next month and a half, 2 months until we put it in service. We're going to get it out. We're going to get it outfitted. Right now, we do not have enough equipment to outfit both engines. I don't think we have enough money to purchase all the stuff right now. We do have a fair amount of money in our apparatus budget, so we will be making some large purchases as we need to, but probably not enough to outfit both. So basically, one engine's we're gonna have about 1.5 engines ready to go at any given time. But our plan is, as soon as everybody feel comfortable, everybody's trained up on the new engine, we're gonna convert that to our primary first out engine, moving our current engine to a reserve status. But we do want to continue to buy equipment for both engines to have, we can just make an immediate swap if we have a problem. Most of you are here for our volunteer response meeting a couple weeks ago. We're having our follow-up meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. here. We've sketched out some plans and things like this on the whiteboard over there. This is kind of my idea. I'm waiting to hear what the input and suggestions and other things we get. I purchased this easel day before yesterday, and we're going to start sketching out things and taping them on the walls and just come up with a good idea to come up with a fair and equitable way that we can get back what we're putting into our volunteer efforts. I'm going to make it very clear that this is going to be an unbendable thing, and I have the support of the board of directors. I do not want to have volunteers that just show up and don't participate, or don't get their training, or don't show up, or just pick and choose what they show up.
It would just carry on roster.
Yeah, we're just carrying on the roster. It doesn't help us, and it's dangerous. And OSHA didn't like it either. So that's where we're going to be doing that meeting tomorrow night. I'm not sure we'll get a final thing tomorrow night. We'll probably have one more meeting, but my plan is to have a plan in place by April 1st. Nice. The last thing is tomorrow. My plan is to turn in our final paperwork for the levy to go on the ballot. It's due by March 19th. I want to put it in tomorrow in case there's any sort of problems with that. My thanks to Lieutenant Carr for and AI for helping us put together the necessary stuff we have to put on these forms. I want to make it clear to the board, today is our final day not to do this. And I'm not by any means proposing this, but I want to say that since we first started talking about things, there's different things going on in the world. Prices are going up, things like that. I'm not saying I support us pulling back, but I need to make sure that I'm doing my job to make everybody aware that, you know, things aren't looking quite as happy as they were a few months ago. But it's going to be on all of us to go out there and educate the importance of this and how it will benefit us and the community, more of the community. And it'll be on us. But we do have some geopolitical situations in the world that are seeing their pump prices rise, and that might put a damper on things. So right now, before I go to the collector's office tomorrow, is the last time to have any more discussion on this.
So did they just moved that thing to where we're voting on it in May, not in November, correct? The gas tax thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, the general
Coming up in-
Yeah.
no,
So
May.
I'm hoping that, and this is kind of a silver lining on a bad thing, is that if they do that, then maybe we'll get more voter turnout. And if we can sell it, then we might,
The
People
locally,
show up
we
to vote
might,
against that and hopefully vote for ours.
hopefully, well.
It has some possibilities.
Yeah, so
More numbers.
let's, yeah, more numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good way to think about it.
And then we can go to the, no, can't say that in public meeting.
So as long as the board's good with it, I will turn in the paper with the elections office tomorrow morning.
I say we move forward.
We do, yeah.
I mean, the old saying, strike while the iron's hot. And
Well, it's cool a little bit. That's why I'm talking.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't think we can.
I don't either.
I think we need to make a run at it.
Mhm.
So that is it for my chief's report.
Business, board policies.
Well, but I got a policy, but that's a new business, isn't it?
Wait, hold on one second, before we go there. So board members, everybody have a chance to look at this, and is there anybody interested in going? There were 4 dates on here around the state on governance and HR, legal, risk management topics.
If you want, I can scan that and send it to you guys tomorrow.
That would be
Yeah,
probably.
that'd be great.
I was kind of interested in it, but I gotta look
I don't need
at
it.
dates. and times, yeah.
I'm sure I got an email about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably sitting in our emails. It's better.
I think email me like
Scan it.
5 times a day.
They do send a lot, don't
They
they?
do.
Board policies, I have a policy to present to you tonight, and we're still grinding away.
Okay,
Let's put your guys' workshop.
And
down
then-
there.
I was gonna say, we have a date on here for a policy workshop. And that everybody's still good with that?
Yep. Absolutely.
And what are we thinking the time is for that? Time
8.
commitment?
Well, I thought we, 4 hours.
I had it blocked up for 4 hours on my
Yeah, that's what I
calendar.
thought we talked about was 4
Okay.
hours.
Strategic plan, we're keeping that tabled until mid-year,
Yes,
summer.
Mhm.
All right. Levy proposal,
we just discussed it.
we did. And board records retention policy as requested in the February meeting.
As requested by the board, I contacted legal. We have this issue of some missing documents that I'm not making excuses. We can search high and low for them. They're not there. They should be there. They're not. So I reached out to Lori Cooper at Local Government Law, and did you all read the email from her?
Yep.
Okay. She's very glad that we recognize this and we accept it, that there was a mistake, but we want to be transparent. How we address it is, we're discussing it right now in a public forum.
Yep.
And
we discussed it previously in a public forum.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that's the extent of what we need to do about that.
Yep, I agree.
so if she doesn't think there's any particular legal language that needs to be used, just keep it straightforward and simple. Just in case there's ever a request for public records and missing records, it should be good to have a standard response notifying the requester that particular requested records cannot be located due to past record retention issues, which has since been corrected. So she has attached, there was 2 sample policies in there for us. These are not in our policy format, though. Where'd I go? Oh, here it is. Is this the one? No, this is, yeah. We can, if you look these over and you're happy with them, we can bring them back next month in a policy format for you guys. We also have, I sent to all the staff here, particularly Charlotte and myself were the most important people. I downloaded the most recent copy of the City of Portland's record retention thing, which covers 500 different types of records can be
Right.
generated. Portland Fire, Portland, City of Portland generates a lot more utility bills and things like that, and how long we have to keep those. We have those kept on our desktop so we can easily refer back to see how long, and they're based upon state law, and they all reference which law.
Right.
So we know now how long we have to keep
Sure.
records for.
So you don't want to put the schedule of retention in the policy itself?
No, because I think it changes, it's subject to
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
So we could say, we could That's a good question. So,
Or I would point to pursuant to OAR,
Oh, here it
I
is.
saw part of that in there.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
It's in there.
is that the one that carries the retention schedule? Where it
Yes.
says, you know, employment records, 7 years and whatever, you know.
yeah, and I can,
Health
I will make
records,
sure that
Definitely.
they cross
Okay.
reference appropriately when I present to you guys the policy, and it'll just be based upon this stuff sent to us by our attorney.
Mhm.
Love it.
Okay. So I don't think we need to,
I don't think
No
so.
motion on
that. No motion on that.
Policy, so,
Table it to the
yeah,
next
table
meeting.
that till the next meeting until we presented something.
we're just cruising right along.
All right, new business, Chief's employment contract revision.
Yeah, this basically reflects one change that you guys have already approved, and that was the stipend request going from 500 to 675. And the other thing is my old contract did not allow for overtime. We
Right.
wanted to make sure that I was not working any overtime based on my hourly rate. So, you know, we had a budget amount and spread out over the year, and I'm absolutely still fine with that. The one change is now that I've been assigned to an incident management team at the state of Oregon, where I could be on the clock literally from the time I leave the station for 2 weeks. And I'm asking the board to consider allowing me because that's reimbursable 100% by the state.
Mhm.
And the other point is that when I do go on these configurations, I'll be taking a command rig, and our command rig's reimbursed at $1,000 a day. So we're making a little money on that thing too.
Mhm. Yeah, you
So
would be.
I need, there's two, that was one of the reasons to request the contract language change to allow me for overtime on that incident. And the other one is something you and I talked about last May so you and I both down in Bend, was you asked if we had a policy or a situation or something set up for a declared state of emergency. And it got me thinking about that. We kind of tied the two together when I was researching this.
Absolutely.
And that is if we get the flood, if we get the earthquake or something like that, I could be parked here for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
Parked, living out of this fire station. And I would we would declare a state of emergency, we would go to the county make a request to the state, and we could be reimbursed for that as well, my costs on that as well. No guarantee, but generally speaking.
And it's only overtime costs that are reimbursed, so if it's not coded as overtime, there's 0 chance of reimbursement.
Okay, I know, well, yeah, because we're on duty, you're on duty normally, you're getting.
Right, so,
So-
yeah, an emergency, only overtime hours are reimbursed.
Okay. So that would be the 2 instances where I would make the request for overtime. And I just need contract language so that when I submit this to the state for reimbursement, that I am entitled to overtime. Because right prior to that, I was not entitled to overtime.
One question for you would be in the reimbursement time. I can remember back some years in the FEMA redistribution and waiting for payments for that, for some of the stuff that came back, took some time. And I'm just talking out loud here in reference to our own budget process. Are we comfortable from within our budget that we'll be able to handle that?
That we build a flow.
If it's 4 or 5 months down the road or 6 months down the road?
That's a really good question. Lieutenant Carr and I were just talking about our budget going forward this year. We are still okay, but last year we projected to carry 400 and some odd thousand from July 1st. Yeah, $400,000 this year. It's gonna be about 320, you said? 335. So we're down a little bit. So there's a little bit. The one thing that we do, that still leaves us plenty. We're spending about $60,000 a month is what our average output is from here. So 60 times till we get our payments to July, August, September, and October, November, 5 months. So that's right about 300,000. So there's a little bit of wiggle room in there, not a lot. If I would be willing to say to the fire district that I would take deferred payment on that, I could just be paid my regular wages and the overtime could be paid later on. I'm totally fine with that.
Do we need
But
to
it
show?
shows on the payroll register as overtime, so it's submittable for reimbursement.
Yes,
The other thing I was thinking, hold on, I'll come right back to you.
Mhm.
Is it possible, let's say that we had to float a large, it was a long duration and we've got thousands out there. Could we make a transfer out of reserves knowing that it's going to be recovered as soon as the reimbursement comes through?
Resolution by you guys is my understanding. And we also have the 90,000 or 80,000.
80,000.
I'm going to pay interest on it.
Right,
Mhm.
okay, so we have 2 different options there.
yeah.
Okay,
So we do have the 8,000, and if we reimburse ourselves 5 months later, you know, we pay a couple $100 in interest, you know.
Yep.
It wouldn't tell us, but it is there. So, you know, when that time comes, we can talk to the board. If we're looking at the budget going, I'll take a deferred payment on this on the overtime, but you know, if it's like, well, we can do it this way or that way, I'll bring it to the board then.
Okay.
do we need to state that in his employment agreement?
I don't think so. I mean, that's
Okay.
just a budget issue, where we get the money,
I'm just
and we
asking
get the money
That's
from. and-
our financial thing.
Yeah.
That's for him to.
Yeah.
to-
I mean, look at this, this is an honor situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That he doesn't go out and start spending a bunch of, like, racking up overtime on a regular basis,
Mhm.
right, which you won't. And
Well,
if he does, then
It's
that's,
actually,
that's an issue.
it's actually, I'm not gonna lie, they pay me pretty good. It works out to almost $11,000 a week.
When you're on assignment,
On one side, yes.
Yeah. I'm talking about like on a
You just-
Tuesday,
You just say, hey, I'm gonna go work 20 hours
right,
just because I want to.
right, because now it's in the, so,
It specifically says in here, only for configurations, and
Okay.
only for state emergency. That's the only time I get overtime.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Understood.
does say that right there.
Yep,
in the yellow.
understood.
So,
somehow I missed that one.
yeah,
All right,
the chief is entitled to overtime rate of 1.5 times the hourly rate equaling $69.23 an hour after 40 hours in a work week when representing BRFD
okay,
on a state incident management team deployed on an incident as a member of the team. The chief shall also be entitled to overtime after 40 hours in a work week if a state of emergency is declared by the Vernonia Rural Fire Protection District. Requested response by state agencies is automatically reimbursable. The requested response by state, okay, that's it. We can call in other resources here. There's
Yep.
other people pay for it.
they already left.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Okay. About to find out. Shouldn't be fair. Okay.
That's almost unheard of anymore.
It's not my house.
So that's it. So I'm asking the board to consider, those changes in the employment agreement.
When the dispatch gets done, there's one more thing I was thinking about when you talk about deferring payment or whatever. You know, when you start talking the wage and hour people, you have so much time to make payment. And that's why I'm concerned that you don't get yourself in a bind or get
Yeah,
the district in a bind.
and let's point out, we can drop our reserve
That's mine.
funds, and we can all strike,
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
we're not, it's not gonna break.
That,
But it sounds like we got two places we
Yeah.
can pull from, so it's not an issue, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Yes.
Okay.
that's my neighbors. What is it? Is it a fire or just?
Chimney fire.
Chimney fire? Yeah.
Okay, is there any more discussion on chief's contract amendment?
I'll make a motion
All right,
that we accept the chief's employment contract revision as it's been presented.
do I have a second?
I'll second it.
That seconder.
James?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'm gonna step out and call my husband so he doesn't freak out. You know my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, I happen to know the guy, just a little bit.
March 10th.
I'm just gonna grab over here real quick, you guys don't mind.
Nope. Gotta make sure the crews are in good shape.
What? Okay, are you on time for here? Never mind.
Ask you off subject.
No, you're fine. Don't worry.
Do you ever get called up to state playoffs for anything for you, for nothing? By the OSAA,
Playoffs or the state tournament?
playoffs,
Playoffs, I've had 4 playoff games this year,
okay.
or play-in games.
How about the tournament you get?
What are you doing?
Voted on by officials.
It's public, it's open, so we
There's a lot
can't
of
get it.
politics in it.
One of the new houses up the street. Friend of ours.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on. Scribbling. They got everything. Okay. Appointing a 26-27 budget officer.
This is just to, if you guys want to appoint Brandon Carr as your budget officer again for this year.
Any discussion?
I don't think there is, but I'll make that motion that we appoint Brandon Carr as he's out the door now
Yeah,
as our budget officer.
I'm not throwing him under the bus.
That's
He
what
has-
happens when you leave.
Yeah, exactly. He has volunteered to be our budget officer next year. I think he did a fantastic job this past several years. So I'd like the board to consider making a motion to put him our next budget officer.
All right, well, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Well,
Yeah.
I'll second.
James? All right. James,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Dawn,
Aye.
Amy.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Yeah.
I can't, I can hardly wait to get this fixed. I can write. I can't hardly write. I can't like that. I get just like a needle being stuck through there.
Nice.
So I hold my pen
Hold
like
it all wonky like a
like,
kindergartner learning to write.
All right. Countywide fire districts working closer with each other, informational item. What date was that?
It'll make me look March what? No, February.
It was February. It was like,
February, I just left.
14th or
No,
21st?
it was like the 21st.
Yep.
Yep,
21st.
21st,
so
Saturday.
on February 21, the chief, Steve and myself attended a meeting. Did you guys see the press release that went out from the Fire Defense Board?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically it was all of the county districts looking for opportunities to work together and talk about common issues that we're facing and look at what's possible. So that's an ongoing, it's gonna be an ongoing series of meetings. Spent a lot of time talking about ambulance service territory and what else was in there that was of note?
Oh, man.
Cost exceeding our ability to do business. And
Which was a common issue for
Yeah.
everybody. I was aghast to learn because of the caps on Medicare, Medicaid payment, that every time the ambulance runs out on a run or on a transport, we're
Going
out
on.
$1,000 at least.
At least.
At least.
Typically, his payment's about $430 on a payment. We'll bill them 17, 18, 19, $2,000 and we'll get $400.
Yeah.
Now, when I say we, but the.
But all of them. Yeah.
Couple of things that come up now, because we've been talking about this at length for quite a while. We talked about what we are doing together. For example, we have intergovernmental agreements. We have a countywide mutual aid agreement. That's what everybody kind of looks back on. Well, when there's a big incident, we all show up and help each other, which is
So
we've been doing
yeah.
that forever. And
Yeah.
that's not an issue. But for example, like we don't have anybody here qualified, experienced, or certified to be a fire marshal. So we have a mutual aid, we have a intergovernmental agreement with Scappoose Fire. And Scappoose Fire is people coming up here and doing our inspections and doing that sort of stuff. So it, it makes sense to have someone qualified to do these inspections.
Now we have fire marshal service.
You know, we have fire marshal service. We outsource our rig now to work at Cloud Sky Fire as certified emergency vehicle technicians, and their work, they do our work in all our rigs and things like that. When somebody has a holiday party, we'll move up and cover them. Well, these sort of things. It's not a mutual aid. It's just asking a favor.
Right.
So and for another last thing is like when I'm on vacation, I've talked to all the fire chiefs in the area and they're all covering my responsibility up here. If a chief's needed up here and I'm not here,
Somebody will be here.
yeah, exactly. And it's, and I made this very clear. I don't worry about the everyday calls because our guys can handle that no problem. It's, somebody gets hurt, somebody crashes a rig, something like that happens, the big stuff that I need a chief that's got the experience and knowledge to see it through. So what that means is that we are already doing a lot together. And we at the Fire Defense Board 6 months ago, let me just listen if you don't mind. So we want to talk to you. We got to talking and we're saying, listen, we are already doing so much together. We have an incredible amount of talent. And we've also got an incredible amount of duplication. We've got, we used to say we have 5 districts in the county. We're actually including Sauvie Island because half of the Sauvie Island is in Clarity County as well. And they've got a fire department. So we're including them in this as well. And say we've got duplication of training officers, duplication of office staff, duplication of billing staff, duplication of mechanical staff. We got all this duplication. We're all ordering separately for our EMS supplies, for our toilet paper, for our fire supplies. What if we were to consider bringing these services together so that we are operating more efficiently and freeing up some funding to do what we primarily need to do, and that's get out and take care of people for a living. And so at this meeting, all it was discussion. There was absolutely positively no decisions made other than let's keep talking about this. And we're having another meeting here coming up on whatever it is. April 9th.
April 9th.
April 9th. And it's just talk. It's just talk.
So are we gonna be the new Columbia County Fire and Rescue?
That is one of the options. That's one of the options.
But if that were to be a thing, that is way, way out there.
Well, no, it's way out, but it's not stupid. I
No,
mean,
It's not. I make no bones about it, right? When I got elected here, I said that was my intent.
yeah, no, and that, yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to not duplicate all that. I mean, even on like a taxpayer type of a,
One of the things Chief did say is we all are having our own board of directors, each district.
Right.
And you
Talk
can
about
zone the
duplication.
districts out by say, and then you'll have a representative that gets elected just like everybody else. So they get equal representation to it. And it's nothing absolutely new. This has been talked about for years, but it's always been the struggle of getting people to let go of their sacred ground. And it's hard, but I also can see the benefit. One of the things you didn't say is staffing.
mhm.
And good old Vernonia, Little Ole Miss, all of us, we're the ones that struggle to have people to send out on a call.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. And liability is a big issue for us. If we do send them out and they're not fully equipped and staffed and somebody gets hurt, that falls on us and falls on the residents. So I'm, like I said at that meeting, I'm in for this. I really am. I am, as an old person, you'd think me who doesn't want to get rid of his fire district, but I think it's an important thing to start looking at. And like Neil said, it's not something going to happen in the next year.
No,
This is something that's way down the road, but I
So
think
if
it's,
we're paving the path toward it.
Yes.
That may be, but.
yes.
But really, there's a lot of efficiencies and probably money saving that could be going on
Mhm.
county-wide at this point by just trying to cut out some of those duplications and leverage each other's strength.
Yep.
and the other thing is that I as a board, I'd certainly want to have these big discussions. I mean, if this continues down the path, then these bigger discussions will take place at the board level. But I would say right now, whether I'm here or not when these discussions are taking place, you guys need to look at, will this improve? I don't think we need to do anything just if it's gonna stay the same.
Right.
If nothing
There's
changes,
nothing tangible that comes out of it.
then there's no point in doing that. We can stay local, we can stay organized ourselves. If there's no improvement that's being offered to us as a countywide agency, then take note of that. If says, hey, we can double, triple your staffing overnight when we throw the switch, that's an improvement.
That's a big
That's an
improvement.
absolute improvement.
Mhm.
So,
Having automatic move ups is a nice thing too.
yeah, I mean, the moment we go on a call, gap who starts or miss starts and it's ready, they just park them here. There's a lot of additional staffing, there's a lot of staffing, and it'll just be something to look at. And again, I want to let everybody know that we talked about, we were three and a half hours.
Yeah, we were almost 4 hours.
Yeah,
It's good.
Almost
good
4
luck.
hours,
But it was-
and there was a lot of things discussed,
Mhm.
and this was just one of many things that we discussed. Is it the end goal? Not now. Was it discussed? Yes, it was.
Mhm.
I will tell you that at the fire chief level, it's interesting. It is appealing to the fire chiefs. And you know, what that means is there's 6 fire chiefs in discussion and all of us look around like, you know, who's last man standing? I'll be honest with you, and I'll put this on record. I'm
You're
not-
going to, because it's recorded.
Don't really have a
I'm
choice.
not convinced that there's any one single fire chief in this county who could take that task on. I know everybody rather well. I would say we should be looking on the outside to somebody that's been through this before. One of the things that we do got going on at our next fire defense board meeting in April. Okay, no, that's good. Is we are bringing in a gentleman, who's the fire chief of Umatilla County Fire District Number 1, which was just formed 4 or 5 years ago with the merger of several districts up there. And he's going to speak to us via video at our next fire defense board meeting and talk to us about why they did it, how they did it, what challenges they encountered, what they would have done different, and things like that. We really want to make sure that we are looking at the big picture before we just go, that sounds great, let's just move forward.
Right.
And so we want to find out about this.
Yeah, and there's a lot of potential pitfalls along the way too, right? That's not an easy thing to. So just so you guys know, there's no decisions being made. Obviously, there's no quorum. That's why there's only 2 of us that were present.
And with that said, I would like to encourage any one of you other 3 to come and be a part of that next meeting, because I won't be here. I'll be in La Pine.
So let's
And-
think about that for a second, though. I had that same thought,
Mm-hmm,
which I don't mind them being here, right? That's fine.
mm-hmm.
But then if you're gonna come back and get back into that routine, and that's gonna be, a project for you, right? That's just, I don't know, that's people in and out, and not that it's not good to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You guys tell me, what do you guys think?
Well, I know I like to be a part of the process going forward. That, there's not a doubt in my mind,
Mhm.
but, I
So yeah,
just,
so no intent to cut anybody out, but remember, we can't have 3 people there, because then we would have a
Right.
quorum
Yeah.
at some point. So you guys tell me, I mean, if you want to be there, we can have somebody there,
As long as there's transparency and we're being told.
which is why I'm here.
Yeah. I don't feel the need to
Okay.
have to go to
Mhm.
the meetings, but I would like to know kind of as,
Sure.
as things move forward, what's
We
going
need,
on.
we need to be very transparent with each
Well,
other
we
as
do
we
need
move
to-
step forward, because there's gonna be questions that are gonna come up. How this is gonna work, that's gonna work. How do we come about this?
Yeah.
And they need to be open and honest with each other.
As Neil put out earlier, we could make the decisions. I had the board say, yep, we're gonna, all the boards say, we're gonna merge into effect. It would be 2 years minimum until this went through. We have to do so much. So there's a lot of legal stuff involved. So it's not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
Mhm. So how many years are you gonna hang on to your?
Why do I get
Although
asked that question a lot?
it's interesting that, I bring up that we're looking for efficiencies that can be leveraged off of one another, and Dawn's first question was still combined,
Mhm.
right? So,
Neil was good at the meeting. He asked a lot of, with his involvement with special districts, he asked a lot of questions that were mind shaking or rattle your cage a little bit, get you to think, thought provoking, so that you could think about what's going on. And there was some good discussion there.
there was a lot
But
of.
see, I grew up in the era of everybody fighting with everybody because they
Mhm.
wanted to be the biggest dog.
Yeah,
And
But you also watch 12 Valley District 1,
Mhm.
12 Fire is District 1 merge,
yeah,
became 12 Valley.
I know, but people didn't like it.
Well,
right?
And that's just it. I mean, you had that merge and everything, but then it affected like the private ambulance companies and stuff like that. It affected us, the way we worked and all that type of stuff. So it was, and plus the fact that not being involved in that process, not having a say in that process, it was, and honestly, I had friends everywhere in Washington County, so it didn't really bother me that much, but there was some headbutting and.
Oh,
and
did
stuff
you-
like that.
Did you guys as an agency see that as a potential threat for TVFNR coming in and potentially taking over the ambulance transport service? So I remember those conversations around too, and I can understand that. I like one of the thoughts that came up from one of the chiefs, that he just made the statement. He says, on your worst day in your life, when you're broken of a heart attack, all you care about is that somebody comes there that's going to help you.
Yeah.
And that's what
I don't care what the patch says.
I sensed that from everybody in that room. That was the number one priority.
I'm gonna
is
pick
that-
and choose and things in mind.
is that we wanted to provide service. Everybody,
Yeah.
it's the same feeling everywhere. And we do, like Greg said, we
But
do a
it's-
lot
It's
together.
just like this chimney fire that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Who is here to back the fire department up?
Nobody. And
Yeah, and that's
I
just
have-
it. You go out on a call and you're talking about
Yep.
somebody moving up to Vernonia to cover and stuff like that. That's what we need.
Yep.
You know, I don't want to sit there and, you know, a
When-
house
when the
up
second
the
call
block
drops.
from me has a chimney fire that could turn into something else, and then all of a sudden something happens to my house.
Absolutely.
I'm, basically SOL.
Yeah, and that's. And you had a situation, was it yesterday morning, you guys shared with me about the chest
Oh.
pain that turned into a code?
Yeah, I was gonna
So
mention that when I talked about volunteer response.
go ahead.
We had we had a real good, it was a bad thing, but a good thing. We had a call that came out at 3 o'clock in the morning, chest pain, and before they even got to the scene, the guy went into cardiac arrest, and CCOM heard the guy stop breathing and changed it to cardiac arrest call. I was at home, I got an alert, this is now a cardiac arrest, and I put it out over our internal alerting system, and we had 5 volunteers come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, including his neighbor, came in and helped out and because it took a lot of work. And one of the volunteers came back and drove the ambulance to the hospital with the 2 Metro West people. So I'm seeing that. Right now, looking at what we have here. So if we had, if this turned into something bigger, myself and Charlotte and Dan would go on this call. I've got 2 volunteers that clicked available, that they could come in if they had to. They're not certified firefighters, but they can help in some way. So we are, we're seeing something here.
Yeah. So what did you say, I don't know, this last meeting about the ambulance and how that's changed here? As far as who's running it or whatever, did I?
Well, Mike, Sergeant, who's here working, he's the guy with the glasses. They made him the
Yeah,
station
Mike.
manager. They did
Okay.
not have a station manager here before.
Okay.
Larry kind of ran things from Hillsborough.
Okay, so it's still a Metro West or no?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if I told you this, Tom, but I talked to JD face to face about 3 months ago. I ended up, for whatever reason, I ended up driving the ambulance with Christine in the back of the hospital. On the way back, she says, we need to stop by the creek and get some supplies. So no problem, great. I went there, I saw Larry, had a great conversation. Larry, he goes, hey, JD Featon's here. You want to go talk to him? I said, sure, I'll go talk to JD. And I went to JD's office, and JD's the guy that hired me in 1989. And I walked in, he goes, oh, hey, Greg, how you doing? I haven't talked to him in 10 years, probably. I'm great, JD. He remembered my birthday. I have a fairly well-known birthday. My birthday is 9/11, so it's not hard to forget. But, and he was nice, he was friendly, and this is the opposite, God's truth. I looked him right in the eyes and I said, JD, I want to tell you something. I said, I don't know if you lost a big bet or you have the heart of gold, but you putting that ambulance in Vernonia and having staff 24/7 ALS is an incredibly wonderful thing. Because I could tell you, he's probably losing $400,000 a year by putting that ambulance up here.
No doubt.
400 grand
Tax
a year.
write-off for him. It's a tax write-off.
I'm sure he's, it's something, but it's still, that's a ton of money he's losing by having that ambulance here. And I said, thank you. And he looked at me, he says, Greg, we're not going anywhere. So that is fantastic. That's an excellent human being right there.
Yeah.
What was the percentage when we were at that open meeting? The other districts were talking about how much they actually in revenue were able to get back on their ambulance, such as Columbia River Fire and Rescue.
I don't.
It was pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pennies. So
The number that I came away with was on every transport, they lose at minimum $1,000.
yeah. Crazy.
That's why we can't have insurance in Columbia County. I just went through the Medicare horror. Yeah, that none of the insurance companies insure Medicare, like for the supplement,
Supplemental, yeah.
because we live in Columbia County.
I
And
feel your
the
pain.
excuse that I got was we don't have providers
Right.
here. Well, no, duh, we go to Washington or wherever, and it's just like, I was livid. I ended up going with PERS and,
Did you?
yeah, PERS Moto, but it's just like, it was a nightmare.
Yeah. Oh,
And they took my husband's away from him, and
yeah, I feel your pain.
so that's why
I
you guys
know.
only get $400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that covers our informational then?
Yep.
Any other questions about it? Everybody good so far with what's going on?
Yep.
Direction that's kind of moving?
Good.
All right. Policy for the emergency operations plan.
Yeah, I feel really weird because I knew I had this in here, but it's not here, but I could tell you that in order for, when I was drafting the contract, this came up, the idea of having an emergency operations plan, or actually declaring an emergency, which is what we talked about, but then it referred back to the emergency operations
That didn't
plan.
exist.
It did not exist.
Right.
So I ended up writing both, the policy and,
And the
well,
plan.
got GPT help, but, the emergency operation plan and, how that would be declared. So the EOP just defines on what, if there is emergency, who
How
we
we
contact,
organize.
how we organize, what we do, you know, we bring back staffing, whatever it needs, we feed our people, all these kind of things. We do what we gotta do, to make that plan work. Getting to that would be the emergency declaration procedure. Ideally, that is made by you guys, okay? But let's talk reality here. There's a flood, there's an earthquake, there's a fire, communication lines are down. You guys are dealing with stuff at your house, you got your family to worry about, you may be out of town, can't get back, communications are down, we don't know. So the plan, the procedures lined out that if the board's unable to do it, then it falls on me. And what this basically does, in no uncertain terms, this suspends kind of all the policies and procedures we have in place for me to do whatever it takes to make this place work. For example, I have a $3,500 spending limit. I can discretionally spend $3,500 of your guys' money without having to ask for it. But if we got a building collapse and I need a crane up here and it says it's gonna cost you $15,000 just to get the thing parked in front of the building, I need to be able to do that.
Right.
Mhm.
So, and then I come back to you and say, this is what I did, and I had to do it. And, that's basically how the procedure's laid out. And I wish I had it in front of me. I don't have it.
I didn't see it. I kind of glanced.
It's behind, it's in your new business. You'll,
It's in a new, okay.
yep, it's gonna be behind, the first part's going to be his contact and then it'll be behind his
Yeah.
contact.
Where I saw it. Did everybody get a chance to read it?
This one.
Yeah. Email, it's fine.
Yeah, Bill digging. Here we go. Well, that's how, I mean, we all know that's how you get things released and get them moving. If you don't have that plan, the government brings everything to a basic stop.
Yeah, I mean, local contract review board, right, or the
Mhm.
procurement rules they're there for good reason,
Mhm,
but in an emergency, we need to suspend.
mhm.
I don't have time to go out for 3 bids, you know.
No, and write an RFP and
Right.
RFQ and, yeah.
So this talks about, you know, the phases of it. We mitigate, we do that by, taking care of things ahead of time, defensible spaces, burn bans, inspections. Preparedness, we train, we keep our rigs up and we respond via 911. And then, we work on damage assessments afterwards. So it identifies roles and who does what, how to interface the, incident command system into it. What to do in case of evacuations, how to utilize water supplies, who to contact for mutual aid. Like there's flooding in the Halem River, staging of rigs, moving rigs to higher ground. We've already decided that if there's a flooding event potential, we're gonna park a couple of rigs on the other side of town because we are cut off.
Mhm.
And we'll figure out where to park them down there so we can, and we'll put people down there in tents if I have to, I don't care.
That's what happened the first flood.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It did.
So that's basically, you know, how we're planning for a potential catastrophe. That's what the policy, the plan defines itself as.
So let's hold there for a second. Any conversation on the emergency operations plan? So I'll say, from my perspective, it seems thin.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think it probably, it covers exactly what we need to do and nothing else, right? It's a bare bones. It'll get the job done. I think I'd like to see some meat on it. And what I'm used to seeing in them, a lot of times is pointing to, there's a reference to the mutual aid, but it doesn't, like, normally we would spell out all the different compacts that we're associated with, right? So if there's the county one, is there a statewide one? Is there boom, boom, boom? Yeah, so that was the one thing that really jumped out at me is really calling those out. Think like Greg, if you're not here And what if none of our chiefs are available? Let's just say that, right? None of our county chiefs are available and they drop somebody in here from Lane County because that's who's available to run it. And he looks at the emergency operations plans, he's gonna be able to figure out what to do. I don't know. So what resources are available to that person from the outside that looks at it and goes, I'm supposed to be the command officer and I don't even know what tools I have. So that's the way I look at it. And to me, that's what the emergency operations plan should be, right? Is I should be able to pick it up as an outsider and look at it and go, I got a pretty good idea of how this all works. I think you nailed how the team works,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
I'd agree.
and hit the NIMS compliance and all
Well,
the things that you're supposed to have in there.
And what we have, like, even at Amazon,
What's that?
at Amazon, our emergency plan like this included all phone numbers for all the different.
So that's the
utilities.
other thing, right? Is normally the phone
Yeah.
numbers go in there, right? Like the emergency call list, right? And the critical vendors
Yeah.
and
That's all in the
Yeah,
I'm
EAP.
good. But
like.
No, I just say that's just,
Mhm.
I was actually in charge of all that stuff at Amazon, so.
I have a question for you, chief. I'm
Mhm.
kind of far removed these days, but in your overhead teams that come in for your conflicts, are any of them at the level where they could come into a emergency incident and the overhead team come in and help take over a situation? You know, let's say you got another major flood here.
Exactly what they're designed for.
Yep.
Yep, that's what I thought. So that's good to hear.
They were here
Mhm.
in 2007, I know that, and probably 96 too. I know they were here in 07. I was here too.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what they're for.
Yeah, so
And
we.
when we get overwhelmed
Mhm.
and they come in and they order up resources that we need. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So that was my thought.
Okay, I will beef it up.
Beef it.
Well, is there any conversation, right? Does anybody else agree with me? I could be wrong.
No, I agree with you because like I said, our EAP book is that thick at Amazon.
And that's,
And
Yeah.
does it have to be that thick here?
no, probably.
No,
No.
but it needs to have more information and stuff that it's at somebody's fingertips.
Yeah.
So what I can do is I'm thinking, just what I wrote down from what you guys said is I will make up an appendix, including outside agencies, capabilities, equipment, things like that. Phone number list, call out list, including outside the county. I'll contact the emergency management numbers of the state, things like that.
Yeah, we
And
had like our-
critical vendors, I don't know any of the crane companies, but I'll find some local cranes and some
Well,
heavy
I mean,
equipment.
what are the local, some of it may be,
Morgan, Morgan,
Megan Morgan,
Campbell.
yeah.
Mhm.
Or I don't know, do we have a working relationship with any of our heavy equipment operators here in town? Right?
They maybe, but here's the thing. Again, I'm going back to the idea we're out of communications, but I still have to call to everybody, but
Yeah.
yes. And that being said, that meeting I held last April with the timber industry rep,
Yeah.
they all made it very clear. If I need heavy equipment, make the phone call.
That's what I figured.
They're coming.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
So things like that. Now, I probably wouldn't list it if it's not a inked MOU, whatever, or something official, but
Well, I can, like the head, like the crane company, Camel Crane, I'll just put their phone number on it. We'll
right,
call
that's
them.
who we would call, right?
Yeah.
Or if we lost our fire station, who do we call for recovery?
Mhm.
Who's our board up vendor? Who's our,
Mhm.
yeah,
Well, I can tell you this, I know that after the 96 flood, we did sit down, there was quite a few bit, because it wasn't just Vernonia that got hit, it was the whole county that was hit. And so there was a lot of discussion and a lot of these things you're talking about here, we're putting in play as far as creating a list and equipment and possibilities, it was done. But that's one of those things that has to be almost reviewed
It
every
does.
stinking
And
year, because
and it's horrible.
John Doe or Weller and Sons Trucking used to have 2 cell holders. I don't have any anymore. You see what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
I don't need
That's,
to say more of
that's what
that.
I did at Amazon. I was
Yeah.
safety at Amazon and
Mhm.
that was my job.
Okay, I will bring it back.
You keep
And
that.
then,
No, I'm gonna let you have it back.
okay, so I'm
This is
looking
the
at the
second part.
operations we're tabling. EOP is tabled. And it's gonna get some more meat on it. Emergency declaration procedures, any
Yeah.
conversation on that?
This is the declaration for me to be able to declare emergency. Again, in all cases, if I don't want to be the guy saying I just spent $50,000 if it's running without getting permission. I would much rather that you got a phone call, a team meeting, have you guys come in real quick for a 5-minute meeting, guest chief, do it, bye-bye.
And I would say this, right, even if you had to make the call on your own, and then at the earliest possible convenience, get a quorum, right, and then
Yeah.
It's just at that point, it's just blessing what you already did.
Does
Like,
it
yep,
have to
nope.
be in person, or can it just be like a phone call to everybody?
A form could be email or phone call.
Yeah, because you could
It
just,
will, yes, but that wouldn't be a formal vote. That would just be notification.
Yeah.
Notification.
You know,
Yeah.
you guys aren't approving me to do it because I've already done it.
Right.
I'm just letting you guys know.
Right.
That makes sense?
I don't know. I don't know. If I
Again.
trust- I don't know if I trust you to do that.
It would be much, the idea, the preference is that I get you guys in here for a 10-minute meeting saying, this is the emergency, we have to have an emergency meeting, we have to have it in 2 hours, be here. I got this major issue, I gotta spend $50,000. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we'll do it.
Yep.
And I need you guys, if I can't do that, if I can't get a hold of you guys, I can't get a quorum, I'm just gonna do it.
And then another thought, right? So it says in the emergency declaration, right, you notify state.
County first. do the-
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
right.
it's gonna be
Always the
the-
progression, right?
Yes.
Because state's gonna ask you, have you exhausted all local resources? It doesn't say who to call or have a phone number. I would include those things. I don't think it does. For county, it does,
Formally request, no, it doesn't list their phone number.
right? And for the
But that
state,
will probably go in the appendix in the EOP.
so I was, exactly, it could go either way.
Yeah.
And are we required, and I don't know that, so you probably have a better read on this than I do. Are we in a declaration, are we required to notify ORs,
Oh, we would, absolutely.
right?
I
So
believe,
that,
actually,
so that should appear, that appears nowhere in the written piece, right?
no, actually, it's the county's responsibility.
To notify
I
ORs.
Yes,
was just gonna say, as I remember back in the day, it was the county.
yeah.
Okay,
That made that
They know that when you're in a state
declaration.
of emergency, you don't have time to start making phone calls
Right.
all the way up to FEMA. We don't have the time.
right. And then they pull the ORs number and.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
the doors number and county emergency man or state OEM office starts taking
Okay.
care of things from there. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so I would just bump it with the phone numbers of call this person with this phone number, because again, if it's not you, you have to take care of it, right? Who am I calling? Am I digging through a Rolodex or a contact list or a Rolodex? Look, I didn't think of my search.
wow.
I say.
Charlotte, go get it for him. There's one in there. There's
Rolodex.
one in your office.
Hmm.
Hasn't
Oh,
been used for
man.
a while, but there's one in there.
All right, so
Sounds
do we
good.
want to approve the declaration with what we've suggested for amendments, or do we wait for that to come back?
Let's wait for it to come back.
Wait
Yeah.
for it to
I
come
would
back?
come back
Well-
and review it again.
Time out. We're two different policies here.
Right,
The first one, I'm going to put appendixes on there with contact information.
that's the EOP,
Right, EOP, the emergency declaration
That's right.
refers to the EOP.
yes.
And so that
So
will,
can we just go forward with the declaration piece?
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
I'd rather see them both done.
with that,
I'd rather see them both done.
but they're two separate
I
policies.
know,
They are
I know they are.
So you'd like to see them both at the same
Yeah.
time and see the interplay
Yeah.
once they're updated?
Yeah.
All right, any other thoughts? Is everybody good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay, so
And
we're
you
going
will
to table
coordinate.
both of them and bring them both back as a match.
Mhm.
Yes. Thank you, Dawn. All right, 13, audience participation. Now that we have an audience again.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Participating.
You were voted as the budget officer.
So anything for audience participation? Do we have anybody online? We do not. Okay. Items not on the agenda?
I was gonna say good to order, so.
Agenda suggestions for future meetings? Go to the order.
So again, I think we talked about it at the beginning, but I just want the board's A-OK to sign these forms for ZCS so they can get their tax rebate, and we'll take care of that. Just came in today. The second thing is this is a fact sheet. You can take one and pass it down. And I had this not public document yet until I turn this levy request into the county tomorrow morning. But this is what I'm going to encourage our folks to hand out if people ask questions that come out of station and they want to know what the levy is all about. We've done some wording changes. For example, we were trying to explain, we're gonna go from 1.5 firefighters 4 days a week to 1.5 firefighters 7 days a week. I just said, let's just change it. We're adding 30 hours a week to firefighter coverage. And then also we were return me to a full-time position, but I also said, well, I consider 13 hours a week of coverage, of paid staff time. What we're gonna do, you know, purchase a self-contained breathing apparatus fill station, build a small training facility, purchase equipment to outfit our new fire engine, purchase new water, PPE, and then the bottom explains how the tax rate is gonna rise.
Really good.
Again, this is fact.
PPE over 30 years old.
1992, I found stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
So that's just the fact sheet. That's just the facts, ma'am. All it is.
Good, I like it.
Good.
Clean and clear.
We're not,
Right.
yep, we're just telling what we're gonna do.
Mhm.
There's gonna be things that I've already started making arrangements to get out in the community. I'm gonna be meeting with American Foreign Legion, or Legion, where it is. Yeah, where is
Yeah,
that?
It's American
Veterans Park.
Regions down by the park.
That's it. I got an email, just came back today from their commander down there. I'm gonna talk to them. And, just to explain to them what we're doing, start to put the word out there and things like that. I'm starting off I went down to Buckshot Betty's 2 weeks ago for lunch, and there's a crowd of little guys there, and, I walked in the table and I said, "Hey, you guys mind if I sit down with you?" And they offered me a beer. And of course, I'm turned this, so I had to say no. And I said, "Hey, guys, I'm just gonna talk to you about something." I said, I might become the most hated person at this table right now, but, I'm gonna talk to you guys about raising your taxes. And, instantly there was a, like this. And by the end of the conversation, they asked some really good questions. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they didn't dismiss me immediately.
Good.
Probably name the people you were talking.
Yeah.
When we make these appearances, is there value? Could we even have a board member with you? Because, or does that
No.
does it confuse anything? Because we're not.
We're not bound.
We can advocate.
Yeah. No, that will probably be something we need to talk about. I'll probably have an idea presented to you guys at the April board meeting to maybe host a town hall.
Okay.
In the past, they've been poorly attended.
Right.
I'm not sure the reasonings behind that. We will do our best to sell it, get it out there. But that was something I think the board would certainly be appropriate for the board to be here. And, I can say what I can say in uniform, but you
Right.
guys can be like,
Yeah,
say what
well,
you want.
yeah, we're not held back. So here's what I think. Yeah. Yeah,
Sounds
and
good.
and I'd say if you have those dates, right, as you start to set up these, as you go around to talk to people, put them out to us, right?
I'll text you guys.
And if one or more of us are available,
Like when you go talk to the senior citizens, let's say you go to their group, they have their main lunch on what?
We'll send
Fridays or
you.
Whatever. Yeah, send the senior most members of your board, because we are familiar with the people in
That's
this
right.
community.
We know them.
And, in all honesty,
They're Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, right?
I think so. Friday's usually their biggest lunch.
Is it? Then I'll set something up in the next week.
What you said.
what's that?
In the next week or two. What do we got?
I'm teasing Neil because he's doing something behind my back over here. You're on camera, Neil. It's public meeting. Uh-oh. You guys are going again.
That's probably class, right? I'm gonna, I will, I'll text you guys as these things come up and
Sure.
let you know.
Absolutely.
Might be Friday in 2 weeks. I might go down to the senior center and I'll give you guys a call if you're around and I'm gonna drive with lunch. It's fine.
One more question. Have you purchased any signage yet?
Not until this levy's filed.
Right.
Okay, then you can do it. Because I want to contribute.
I wanted to make sure tonight was your last no go. Michigan.
I think we're pretty clear that it's a go.
Yeah.
So, no, nothing has been purchased.
Go for it. Okay. All right. Is that it? Let's see. Anything else for the good of the order?
Yeah, I just want to say, I want to thank these guys, and I'm sure he does too, all you guys that kept up while he was gone for his little excursion, and things seemed to manage and run real well.
I only called them a couple times just to check in and see how things are going and to tease them a little bit. She got the brunt of it. Because when I was in Austin, my last night, there was a mass shooting in
I
Austin.
was gonna say, I'm glad you didn't get caught up in a mass attack.
Well, you gotta hear your story now.
14 people that were shot, so I think 3 or 4 of them died, including the shooter. And so, I didn't even know about it. I heard the sirens at 2 o'clock in the morning as I was trying to sleep in my hotel room, which was 4 blocks away from where it took place. But the next day I get up, I'm watching national news, seeing all the stuff going on 4 blocks away from me where the shooting took place. So I got a little devious, I will admit. And, I decided to call this one sweet little old woman right here that doesn't helps us, this department out immensely. And I told her, I said, okay, let me start off by telling you I'm okay. Because it was obviously big news. And she said, what? And I said, listen, it was a grazing wound. I didn't even require sutures. It's absolutely fine. I didn't know I could run that fast, but
I don't remember where I am half the time when people call. I can tell you where I was, what I was doing, what I was wearing, what my plans were for the day.
she was hyperventilating.
Until I heard his buddy laughing in the background.
So no, that was my trip. So I didn't tell her my vacation was nice and nothing happened. I was fine for it.
That's good.
And if
Okay.
you haven't had a chance, go out and take it to the lip. They did get the other pumper here.
That's when you
Yeah,
mentioned
Yeah,
out there,
those
the
burrowing
department,
out there.
It's a moose compared to the other one.
Details will be coming anytime now. We're starting to put it together, starting now.
Okay. Anything else? All right, well, our next scheduled meeting is gonna be Tuesday, April 14th. 7
And
o'clock.
I'll go on record right now. I will not be here physically, but I will remote in
Okay.
because I'll be in the Pine.
Okay. And I will take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Is that Dawn again?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Miss second.
Sorry, I wasn't looking up. James,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Dawn,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
motion carries, meeting adjourned, 8:06.